Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I've got a story that is very interesting because have you ever heard of the term predatory lending? Well, I sure have because everybody heard about it right before I would say right after the crash of Lehman Brothers, when all of a sudden everybody's portfolios were dropping, their house values were dropping, everything was going on. They needed a boogeyman. What was the boogeyman? The banks, the predatory lenders. Well, guess what? That term is coming out again, but it's in a totally different industry and it's very serious because it will affect everyone. It doesn't matter if you don't own a home or you don't own stocks. This next one is going to affect you because it has to do with food and logistics. I'm with Eric from Sage News. Eric, how are you doing?
Hey, doing good. Well, let's let the story go, and then we'll decide how we're going. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm already fired up. I'm already fired up. So let's see. So right now, Eric's about to pull up a story about predatory lending in the semi-truck realm, where a lot of people are starting their own companies. Now, Eric has a lot of good experience in this. And if you haven't followed Eric at Sage News, please do so. He was not only an owner operator of his own shipping company, but now he is a freight broker and he employs many other owner operators. And this is going to be catastrophic. And we're going to go into why. So please check this out. I'd stay till the end because the rant and rave will probably be at the end. Eric, what is going on?
Definitely check me out. I'm trying to get to 15,000. All right, let's go into this. So wait a
minute. Hold on. I want to say something. Eric has been helping me for about 6 months, 7 months. We become good buddies through this process. Absolutely. He has helped me a lot to get truth out to NinjaNation. Eric wants to get to 15,000 subscribers. Could I challenge you to go and check out, I'll link a story of his below. Check out his channel. If you like his info, give him a thumbs up and hit the subscribe. Check out his channel. Let's go and help him crush it because he is part of NinjaNation. All right,
absolutely. Sorry. Thank you so much. All right, so one of the things that the new law passed in regards to trucking and some of the stuff they were going after. The first law they did was allowing younger 18-year-olds to go into a program to be able to become tractor trailer drivers and get their license. Now, so you have younger guys entering in, that are, let's just say 18-year-olds. When they see big money, who knows what's going to happen. One of the other aspects they did was they created a task force for predatory truck leasing. And now what they're doing is they're taking applications for people to serve on this task force. What happens in trucking is big numbers are thrown out on the doors, on the trailers. And when you walk in there, they're saying, look how much money you can make. You could be your own owner operator. You can own your own truck. You can do this, you can do that. And a lot of guys go in and do this process. Quick story. When I left the military, I went into one of these lease programs with a company. I was there 21 days. I saw 2 paychecks and I'm like, I'm out of here. This is ridiculous. There's no way I can live on this money. And I left just under I had a 30-day thing. So
Eric, how did you come across that company? Was it one of those? Because I see those on the back of the semi trucks, like earn 60,000 or 80,000 a year. Just call this number. Is that how you found out about it?
For me, it was even worse because when I went in, I left the military and I went back into driving tractor trailer, and they threw it at me at orientation. I mean, like literally, I wanted to be a company driver, but they pushed so hard to make me a lease driver. I'm like, okay, I could probably do it. Let me take a look.
So was that when you were in orientation and you're going to work for a company, was it the same company that if you would have signed up for a lease, they would have benefited?
Absolutely.
Oh,
So I went to drive for them as a company driver. And by the time I left, I was, I was picking out my own truck and I was a lease driver because they constantly threw it at you and said, look, here's the difference. Here's this and this and this, what you wanted. So I was actually a part of this. Luckily, my wife looks at the paycheck and says, we got to go. So I was able to get out quickly. So I do know about Go ahead. I do know about the how hard they will push to put people who are not educated enough to own their own trucks and run their own businesses, and they will push them into that scenario. And it keeps, a lot of drivers. So they did create a task force. Now, I'm two-sided on this, even though I have. My first thought process is I don't want the government to just come in and attack the actual people giving that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want them just attacking the companies. I would rather see more education on how to run a trucking business, how to be an owner operator. I would rather see that. It's kind of that theory of you teach someone how to fish rather than give them a fish. So I don't just want them just going after the predatory truck leasing companies. We really need a lot more education on how drivers can become owner operators and become better business people. And unfortunately, this is more directed towards the companies, which is.
Well, let me say real quick, interject this. Even if you're not a semi-truck driver or you're not an owner operator, anything in the shipping industry, this affects you, because what we're going to break down is how this can lead to many semi-truck drivers claiming bankruptcy. So go ahead, Eric.
So the next part of this is understanding this right here is from Twitter. So the driver shortage narrative over the past 2 years has caused the largest amount of startup trucking fleets in history. This is not a meme stock. This is actual entrepreneurs that have started their own trucking company. Now, you can kind of see the spike on how far this has jumped. The issue is that I deal with this all the time. A lot of people jump in because they see the money, they want to do this. But when it comes down to it is when things start to come down or the market starts to come down, they don't know how to calculate their numbers. They don't know how to calculate their cost per mile. They don't know how to calculate, how important fuel and stuff is. And they go bankrupt. Lots and lots of them because, and I have guys, I just talked to somebody today that a buddy of mine had to basically sit down and consult with somebody and saying, look, because he wasn't making it. I mean, you think about right now, we just had the best rates we've ever had in trucking. And a week later, it starts to taper down and he's already ready to go bankrupt. That's how close we are.
Yeah, let me dive in here. So this is how serious this is. That explosion in trucking is exactly the fault of two things. High unemployment because of the everything that goes down, right? And so people lost a job and they figured out, hey, why don't I jump into this industry? And at a time when shipping rates were exploding. On top of that, now you have increased regulation that's going to hurt some people and people not understanding how to run a business properly. And that's something I harp on a lot through my channel. I stress that a lot. The thing is, how this is going to affect the whole world is if we see more of these owner operators start to claim bankruptcy, we are already in a very serious deficit of qualified shipping operators right now, truck drivers that were either working for a company or owning their own business. If we start to see a collapse in these or a rise in bankruptcies for owner operators, it's going to lead to two things: massive shipping deficit, right? We can't get the materials from the ports to the people. And also on top of that, you're going to see increased bankruptcies, insurance numbers insurance policies getting triggered, payoffs, things like that, and could put stress on an insurance system as well. Similar, not as big, but it's the catalyst to something bigger, to what we saw with AIG in the housing market. Now, I know that sounds really strong worded, but I want to remind you, Lehman AIG didn't go down just because of Lehman. It went down because of Bear Stearns and a bunch of other banks that were crashing. And none of those big banks went first. It was the small regional banks. And right now, when we're talking about small business worldwide, especially with a lot of these companies got a boost from PPP loans and SBA loans. And what did they do with that money? How did they spend it? Did they go and pay cash for their equipment, or did they get themselves into big payments? And that's something that I think, Eric, every time I start seeing stories like this.
Yeah, and a lot of the issues is this is where guys are going to get themselves in trouble. First thing you start to see is consolidations from companies. Companies start to consolidate. They get bought out. This person buys this one. I've started to see that. I've already started to see. So what that tells me is we're at the top when they're selling at the top because they know something's coming to get, and they're getting out. And so if somebody were to go to Google and type in trucking companies buying other ones, you'll see a bunch of big ones. This is where a lot of, like I said, owner operators get in trouble. And this is where you come back to this predatory leasing. These are going to be the first guys that go out because they jumped into something during the best times, not expecting that bottoming out type situation. And then when that happens, there's a lot of parked trucks. There's a lot of guys going out. There's a lot of guys leaving the industry. And what happens? Now, there's a good side to this, unfortunately, is if any investor wanted to truly invest in something that is what I consider definitely needed, which I'm actually going to be looking into, is some type of outside consulting company to teach owner operators who want to be owner operators what it actually takes to do that and to actually tell them that type of stuff. And this is something I believe the industry needs, but I don't need government to run that. I want an outside people to actually teach that because it is an enormous industry to get into.
Eric, have you started that? Have you started consulting?
I have on the brokerage side, but I'm actually thinking about getting some guys together and basically saying, hey, how about you, some of you truck drivers? We put together some guy, we're looking to retire or something like that, and we put together something where drivers can come in, we can do some seminars, we can do some stuff, and say, look, logistics is one of the largest industries out there, if not the largest, right? So it's not going anyplace. But people get it. The turnover rate in trucking is huge, and a lot of that could be solved with proper people, truck drivers teaching truck drivers how to be better.
Well, I'll tell you what, Eric, are you, is there an email where people, if they're starting to need, because you were also an owner operator, so you could do brokerage side and you can consult for the owner operators. Is there an email that they could reach out to?
Yeah, they can reach me at sagenews.org. If you want to shoot me that, like I said, I have a lot of drivers that either, they're dispatching trucks right now, but they are actually drivers. They still, like, I'm an active broker still. I still have my CDL license. So the guys you want to talk to are people that actually have that type of, criteria, the actual credentials like that.
No, I think that's smart because consulting's great. I used to be a consultant. It was neat for me to be able to help people, and it was crazy. They'd pay a consulting fee and they'd walk away saving like 5-10 times that much instantaneously. And it's amazing what you can get. I'm not making any promises for Eric, but the little nuggets of information from someone that's been in the business, and they say, "Oh, why are you doing that? Just do this," and you're just boom, the light bulb goes off in your mind. So I think that's important. So give me that email one more time.
Yeah, it's going to be sage@sagenews.org.
You were totally blown out there. It's sage@sagenews.org. You went totally digitized on me. All right, cool. Well, hey, thank you so much, Eric, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Well, with that being said, the Economic Ninja is out.